Delegating and empowering. It's probably the most mechanical part of leadership because there's a tremendous amount of planning that has to go into this. Every time you delegate as a leader, you're risking the work won't get done properly. You're risking giving it to somebody who doesn't know how to do it. Oftentimes, leaders will fail in delegation because they look for people that remind them of themselves because that makes it easier. They're more likable to give that task. You all know as a leader, you have to look at people for their skills and their willingness to grow and develop, regardless of what they look like, sound like, feel like. Whether it's somebody you would look at has a personality to be a best friend, or somebody that reminds you of somebody who was very mean to you when you were a child. We all experience that. So the first filter of this delegation and empowering process is a filter of clarity. Make sure that your unconscious bias becomes conscious, and that you identify why you lean towards somebody all the time and not somebody the rest of the time. So this sets a level set for you. Almost we call it in coaching a platform for understanding. One of the ways to accomplish this is to have a delegation meeting. You bring your team together and say, listen, I'm going through the process of identifying a series of tasks that I don't need to do, but they need to get done. And so with that, I'm looking to start connecting with different members of the team here and delegating some of those things in part and to develop to help you develop as a leader, to help to empower you, to give you an opportunity to grow and show what your potential is. In order to do that, I need to know what you're interested in. So in this case, in having a short meeting, you've taken your filter, what you think they're interested in because of your self-reflection or self-projection and prejudices, because we all have them, and you're now giving it to them, saying, here are the things that I would like to have delegated. Which are you most interested in? So you actually empower them before you delegate. When two or more people want to be involved in the same delegated task, you can simply ask them questions, why they feel they're prepared for this, how this is going to help them in their career or their job. And frankly, who says that two people can't be delegated the same task, in part? Again, we have to make sure we're looking at people with a clear eye. And we're not letting what we did or how we learned to get in the way of how they need to learn and where they want to go. So delegation starts with shifting the responsibility of identifying interest to your potential delegatees, the people to whom you want to delegate. The other thing is that you have to be clear on the skills necessary in order to accomplish these delegated tasks with great success. If you've been doing it for a period of time, you may look at it as that big, hairy, audacious goal we talked about. It's just this big thing to do. Think back to when you first learned to do that particular process that you're now considering to delegate. Didn't you learn step by step, precept by precept? Didn't you have to collect information, ask questions? Well, why don't you save that time of both somebody having to come to you and ask you all these questions, as well as you making sure that whomever you do delegate these tasks to, that they're going to be successful, and create that template, create the guidelines, as it were, on what good looks like. Be clear on what the outcome is. The outcome isn't a weekly report. The outcome isn't to review a call sheet. The outcome is how this will impact the company. How you helping me do this, by delegating this task to you, our company will be better off because. That's focusing on the outcome, not again on the task. So be clear on the outcome, be clear on the task, give the person the opportunity to validate through your questioning that they know they have the skills to do these tasks because you first identified what skills are necessary. And as you begin to roll this out, you create a sense of anticipation for the next time and the next piece of delegation. It's much easier for you to get a promotion if you have one or more people ready to take your job. Great leaders know how to delegate and empower, because what they're doing is they're preparing the next generation of leaders, And that will always be a benefit to you as a leader for your career, as well as all those that you get to impact behind you. The other value of having your team or your potential people to whom you want to delegate a task, to let them kind of talk about and tell you what they want, is that we don't know what motivates people. It's a part of their personality that is not visible. You can see what they do, that's visible. Do I lean forward when I'm aggressive? If I'm not interested, do I lean back? These are all the behaviors that we can learn and understand, how people are acting. There's books on body language and micro expressions. These are all really valuable. We use them in our dealing with people all day long in business. But what motivates me? What motivates this person versus this person? We don't know. So this exercise of asking them to respond to what they're interested in gives you from that, not what they're good at doing, what they're interested, what they're motivated to do, will give you some insight into really what their motivation is, because you can ask the question, why? Why are you interested in this particular task? Well, because I love to learn. Here's somebody who's motivated by knowledge and constant learning. Over here, this person answers a question by saying, well, because I know I'll get recognized. I know that everybody will know that I did a good job if I do this. So they're motivated by that individualistic, recognition. Another person says, well, because I think I can earn more money if I put more time into it. So they're looking at that ROI, that utilitarian of, I invest my time to get something back. And oh my gosh, you may even have somebody in your team that's motivated by beauty, that's altruistic, that just says, because I think that if I do this, it'll be more fun. No offense, boss, you make it kind of dry. I think I can have fun with this. And that's a big motivator for people. So don't guess, because you can't. Ask through this technique of delegation, of identifying what motivators your team members have.